Hello, I'm Wade Bennett from Rockridge Orchards Distillery here in Enumclaw, Washington. And we're starting with a standard mix kettle. We're going to be making a whiskey today. So we're starting with pure malt. It then gets put in this 100-gallon steam kettle. We heat it up, we mix it with water, and then at that point, when we end up with the amount of sugar content level that we're looking for and the right mixture, then we will transfer to fermentation kettles. This whole process takes about 45 minutes to an hour. At this point, we've transferred our wort, or our raw beer that we just made in the steam kettles, into our fermentation kettles. These are a pressurized tank that has an exhaust for the CO2 to escape. Once we get that fluid or the wort in the tank, we will then turn around and pitch our yeast once the temperature is dropped below 80 degrees. And that will then proceed to age for about 14 to 15 days while it ferments all of the sugar out of the malt into alcohol. At this point, we'll just wait until it's done. We are now through with our fermentation. It's taken between 14 and 15 days. We are going to transfer all of our wort, which is the finished fermented whiskey product, or basically beer, into our #1 still here. The still should only be charged or filled to 80%. We do that to keep from having the expanded wort from getting up into the refracting tower. We will then apply heat. The heat will come on, and when we get just about up to boiling, we will then apply cooling water to the top of the tower, and that will start the reflux process. Reflux is the equalization of different alcohols and waters in the tower itself, and it separates the alcohol by temperature, with your more volatile alcohols going to the top and your heavier alcohols sinking to the bottom of the tower. Once we get past our 2-hour equalization, we will then have all of our foreshots and heads at the very top of the tower. We will decrease the water cooling, which will then allow us to pull off the foreshots. Watching our thermometer at the very top of the outport on the tower will tell us where we're at and how much alcohol at what type is coming off. So the foreshots will be under about 63 centigrade. We will collect it here in the beak, at which point we will actually open that up. We will dispose of it into a separate container, which we will then get rid of. You will start smelling the acetate and the various different kind of nasty chemicals in there, and you're going to want to get rid of those. Do not touch or drink foreshots. It's got some really volatile, nasty alcohols and fusel oils that will actually sink through your skin and actually hurt you. Once you start smelling that the acetate is gone, you're then into the heads. We are still going to divert that off. That has a lot of alcohols that you don't want, like isopropyls, that sort of thing. We'll divert that off, get rid of that as well. When you get to the heads, the thermometer up on the tower will actually move up to about 74, 75 degrees centigrade. So you will actually know that's where you're going. Be generous with how much you cut and allow to get rid of. You don't want any of the heads to get over into the hearts or main body of your distillate. Once you get past the heads and you know it's all gone, you close up your export, you open up your main run. You're then going to collect your hearts in the collection tank, and you're going to let your still run. At this point, we know that it takes about 4.5 to 5 hours to make a complete run of hearts on this particular still. So in about 3 hours, we're going to come back and start tasting, smelling, and sampling the different alcohols that are coming off at that time. There will also be an alcometer floating in here, and it will tell us where we are alcohol-wise. This still is set up to run 120 proof alcohol, and we can control that by the cooling tower, how much fluid, how much water we actually put to that tower. Once we've collected the entire run, and we know we're through, so we're getting down to about 20 proof or so, we know that the tails are coming up. We start smelling again. We cut it off way before that happens. We'll actually start diverting to a separate container, and we'll just keep diverting. And once we smell that, taste it, we stop picking up the hearts. Anything that is contaminated, we will dispose of. And at that point, we will take our main body of hearts that we've collected in the collection tank, and we will drag our barrels over and we'll start filling our barrels for holding and maturation. Distilling is about 75% science, chemistry, math, and about 25% art. And you have to have the 75% correct, and the 25% you can enjoy by playing with. I also want to tell you, although I have been a distiller advocate and enthusiast for about 45 years, we did not start practicing distilling until we got our distilled license. It is illegal. We do not recommend it under any circumstances. We also recommend that if you do practice this art, that you follow all of the safety guidelines. There are hazards galore in this business. Follow all the practices. It will make for a safe industry that we'll all be proud of.